2 of the tutorial, how to start making beats in Ableton for beginners. In this section we're going to go over how to actually start making some beats. So let's get into it. Just to keep things simple, I'm going to use all the stuff that comes with Ableton so that you don't have to worry about finding samples or anything like that. We'll just go with the stock drum kits and sounds for now. So as you can see, I have this set up already for a kick, a snare, hats, and an audio channel. This is a template that I set up, and yours probably won't start like that. Yours will probably just start with one track that is labeled a MIDI track and one that is labeled an audio track. So something like this, if I remember right. So to get started, let's put a drum kit on our MIDI channel here. There's 2 ways you can do that. You can double click as long as you have the MIDI channel selected, or you can drag and drop. So let's drag and drop our drum kit onto the MIDI channel. And you can see that it's got a bunch of drums preloaded: kick, rim shot, snare, etc. So to actually create a MIDI clip to tell Ableton what to play, we're going to select a little section here. We're going to right click and do Insert MIDI Clip. You can also hit Control, Shift, and M. I suggest learning your keyboard shortcuts early on. It will save you a lot of time in the long run. So we can zoom in a bit on this MIDI clip we just created. Go ahead and double click. And you can see all of the instruments lined up here on the left: kick, rim shot, tom. If you want to sample what these sounds sound like, go ahead and click this little headphones button and click on the key. And that way you can tell what's on each little channel. So let's get started and just add a simple drum beat here. We'll put a kick on the one beat, a snare on the second. I'm just double clicking to add these notes, by the way. Another kick on the third, and a snare on the fourth. That gives you your basic beat. So this bottom section here is called velocity, and this is basically how loud each sample is coming through. So if we turn this down on the first kick, you can hear it gets a lot quieter. This can be super helpful with hi-hats to make them sound a little more human. So here's some hi-hats here. Let's throw some of those in. So a quick way to add a lot of different notes is you can select a certain area by clicking and dragging and hit Control D. Since I dragged to this area here, it's copying this whole section. Again, learn your keyboard shortcuts, it'll save you so much time. So this gives us something pretty basic. You can tell the hi-hats sound a little unnatural because they're all hitting at the exact same velocity down here. A quick way to get around that is to select a note here and bring its velocity down. Select the next note, bring that one a bit down. Basically just make them random, because a human wouldn't hit the hi-hats at exactly the same velocity on each hit. So this is something simple, just to give you a little bit more groove and feel to the tracks, especially the hi-hats. Now of course this drum pattern is pretty boring. This is where you could go crazy with adding different kicks, different snares, little fills here and there. Just tailor it to your taste, what you want. Just double click again to add a note. You can double click to remove a note. And don't forget about the velocity. So that's pretty basic as far as how to get started. Ableton comes with a bunch of kits that you can see here. Go ahead and play around with a lot of different kits and see which ones have drum samples you like, and then hit up my other tutorial on how to make a custom drum rack so that you can add your own samples. And again, if we wanted to adjust our tempo, come up to the top left here, click and drag. And find something that feels right. So these little sliders here are the volume tabs for each exact channel. If we drag it down, you can see that it will get quieter and back up to 0, which is the default. Another quick key is if you are playing with things and you want them to be back to their default setting of 0, just select the box and hit delete on the keyboard, and it will bring it back to its default temp. default volume. So no good hip-hop song would be complete without something else besides drums. Well, some are, but we would want to add some melodies. So just to bring something simple in, we'll go ahead and go to piano and keys. Go ahead and click on them once to kind of hear a sample of how they sound. So piano little one is a nice simple sounding piano to get us started. Now we're going to want our own MIDI track for this, so we'll go ahead and click and drag into this section here, and it will add a new MIDI track for us. So now we'll do the same thing we did before with the drums. Select the area you want, right click, and insert a MIDI clip. And now when we double click, instead of being drums on the left, it's keys on the piano. Click and drag on this section here to zoom in and zoom out of the piano. C3 would be like your middle C, and you can go all the way down -2 octaves and up all the way 6 octaves. So again, to preview a sound, click the headphones. Alright, so I just came up with something simple really quick here. Go crazy with this. You can add chords, you can layer things. Okay, so basically that's all there is to it. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but from here you would just continue to add different layers of sound, as many as you'd like, really. I don't think there's a limit unless you've got the trial version. So for right now, we've got a simple drum pattern and a very simple melody. So from here you would just continue to add different layers of sound, and then you would add the structure of the song. You can select things by clicking and dragging, or holding the control key, and then if we use our duplicate key like before, control D, it will go ahead and duplicate what you've already got. So now we can extend our loop bar here, and we've got like a full bar to work on. Then you could go in and you could change these different clips to be a little bit different here and there so it doesn't sound so repetitive. But yeah, that's the basic of it. Like I said, from here you could continue to add your bass line, whatever you'd like, and it would work in the same basic principle the way we got our drums and our piano in there. Alright, go ahead and hop on over to part 3 where we will start to process some of this sound, add some reverb, things like that, and we will go from there.